Our state has some incredible problems. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. I'm here to talk about that with you and talk about the trends that have shaped this state and dragged us in one direction or another. We're not really we're not realizing the dream we had way back in the early 2000s or even around 2008 or 9 or 10. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. Welcome to Wowbiz Nebraska. We're going to get it on right now. Life is so complex, isn't it? Especially if you're a business person today. One of the things that you need to look for in your life, and you do it unconsciously anyway, is some way to streamline your life, make it simpler, just kind of get some of the stuff out of it, think more clearly, more focused. Welcome to Wowbiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker. I'm here with my great friend, Bruce Arendt. The two of us are going to discuss, we got an answer for you, we got a solution for you. We're going to talk about, Bruce, thanks for joining me.
Sure.
Yes. Don't you agree life is complex?
Mine is as simple as it could get.
Oh, it's not either. You have conflicting priorities, right?
Yeah.
Some things have to be done before others, and it doesn't work. And
everything's gotten crazy.
I showed up on the set today late for this very reason. But here we are, right? We're in the high-tech era here. Internet 3.0 is what I'm going to call it, right? And artificial intelligence, obviously, is very important. It's developing predictive outcomes. It's creating shortcuts for us.
Right.
So we're going to kind of dive into that, and we're going to share with our viewers different ways to simplify their lives using new apps. Okay. They could have on the smartphone or whatever, and kind of streamline things. But we want to find out which ones you, in particular, Bruce Arendt. A lot of calls coming in. Who is this guy?
Because
I'm getting calls and
right.
emails and people saying, "Who is this guy?" So we're going to define you based upon your preferences.
Okay,
Are you ready for that?
Because I'm not familiar with this.
Okay.
List,
Well,
so.
here's your first choice. You're going to have two apps.
Okay.
You only have one.
Okay.
The first one's focused on writing better emails.
Okay.
The second one is focused on scheduling meetings. Okay. So there are definitely improvements in the way people write emails, and let me read to you what they are.
Okay.
All right. So the writing better emails. This is Boomerang. This is the name of the program for Gmail.
Okay.
Do you have a Gmail?
I do.
Okay. And what's the likelihood that your email will receive a reply? Now that in this day and age, we get 83 emails a day. A lot of people skip over it,
Oh, I know.
It's very hard, especially if you're in business development, salesperson.
Right.
This is an add-on that will tell you, based on your subject, the header, this is very interesting, reading level and length. It also helps schedule follow-up reminders. So it'll tell you the likelihood that the way you structure your email can be too long sometimes, right? And the way you set it up, and especially the subject line. Some people go too long. I found out that shorter subject lines get open more. Right. So that's very interesting. And by the way, it also evaluates an email's politeness. You need a little work in that area. No, I'm kidding. And positivity before you hit send. Politeness and positivity, it analyzes that. Okay, so that's that.
Okay.
Versus scheduling meetings, right? You need more meetings.
What does that do for you?
All right, this is called Clara, is the name of the service, right? A virtual executive administrator. This is like a lady out front, only here. On email correspondence when trying to set up a meeting, and this is AI, artificial intelligence, as a service. By the way, it costs $99 a month. Right? It works with all parties to book the meeting. Clara's dashboard, kind of a little thing on your screen, lets users preset their preferred meeting times, who calls who, and when to send a confirmation, and more. Now, right now, I'm trying to set up a meeting with some people here in a few days, and it's a little bit complicated who's going to call who.
It becomes very cumbersome.
A little bit. We have to go back and forth, and here's my number. Do you want me to call you? This handles that, streamlines that. Now, between these two, which would be most effective to you?
Well, I could see the meeting thing being helpful, but for me, I would definitely go for the email one. Now, I consider myself, pretty good email
You're an editor.
writer.
You're a professional writer.
But here's the thing, and I was just thinking about this, even though I was an editor and still do it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs an editor. Even editors need editors.
Yeah.
To just check themselves. And I think that sounds like it'd be fantastic.
It does. It does really. I think I always overwrite, and I think it'd be good to have somebody say, just shorten it up.
Right.
And get right to the point.
Because that's harder to write small than it is to wite big.
It is. Because every word has to.
Yeah.
All right. That's very good. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Here's your choice. The first one is focusing your mind. Think about that. Hey, hello. Come back anyway. And the other one is find a job. Very interesting. So I'll elaborate here.
Okay.
Now this first one blows my mind. Focus Your Mind, by the way, it works on both the desktop and your smartphone, just so you know.
Okay.
It really is a music app, okay? And it creates ambient sound, kind of like...
Kind of white noise?
You know, kind of background sound.
Yeah.
To help users concentrate on a task or help them meditate or help them sleep.
Okay.
Now, a lot of us are sleep deprived,
Right.
a little anxious, need a little help to go to sleep, all right? This is called, by the way, Brain.fm. That's the Brain app. It modulates the rhythm and frequency of the music based on cognitive research. So they really know what they're doing here, all right? And guess what it would cost on a monthly basis? What would you pay for something like that really helps you just relax and study, think carefully?
I'm bad at guessing prices, but let's say $10 a month.
$6.95.
Really?
Yeah, not bad value.
That's not bad.
All right, so that's that. Now, the next one, find a job.
Okay.
Now, by the way, I would say find a job or find a client, depending on your profession.
Okay.
You're going to love the name of this.
What?
Gloat. Gloat is the name of the... I love that.
That's good. Yeah.
Gloat looks at a user's resume or your LinkedIn profile and offers tips for increasing job matches. Its machine learning capability, all right, every time you press a button, it learns more, say, about you.
Huh.
It learns your preferences.
Okay.
Then the next time you use it, it's a little smarter, it can be more precise.
Narrows things down.
That's right. Also suggests openings at companies and adapts to feedback, narrowing your results, as we said. So it becomes more and more helpful to you insofar as pointing you to things on all your connections, however many connections you have on LinkedIn, then it goes through them all and tells you, hey, here's an opportunity. Interesting.
That sounds really...
kind of interesting, right? By accessing your contacts, Gloat can look for connections to employment opportunities, and you can also search anonymously so you don't reveal yourself and so on. All right, so here we have the ambient music that increases your concentration or the job finding application. What do you think?
I would go for the first one, the Focus Your Mind, and the reason is this.
You would? I'm so surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason is this. I already use sort of nondescript music like Gregorian chants or something like that when I'm writing.
Yes.
Now when I'm doing art, when I'm drawing,
different.
I might be listening to anything, any kind of music,
really?
But it has to be like something I can you know, beat
Kind of energized.
energize me, right? But if I'm trying to write and concentrate,
Yes.
If I'm playing, you know, the Rolling Stones, I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah. No,
I start singing along, you know.
I have that same thing.
But if I'm doing something that's sort of like nondescript,
Yes.
then I can concentrate. So I see the value in that for me, and also for going to sleep. I actually listen to music like that when I'm falling to sleep.
So do I. I'm so surprised. You and I are on the same page on that. I can't believe
I'm
that.
very sleep deprived.
I am awfully impressed, though, with the find a job thing.
I am too, and I've been in situations where I was needing that type of help, and I think that would be very, very valuable.
I'd like to share that. I mean, I must know 6 or 7 people that could use that.
Yeah.
I should share that with them. All right, should we go on to another one?
Sure.
I think this is
These are
very
good.
revealing about you. I know you much better as a result of that.
Didn't know that I can't sleep.
Yeah. So the next one we're going to pair off is creating killer presentations versus reading the news more critically. Now that's an interesting thing. So these killer presentations it's called beautiful.ai.
Okay.
So AI, artificial intelligence, is the suffix. Users can overcome the whole PowerPoint anxiety thing with this free app, more than 50 templates, all right, including comparison charts. It also observes the rules of good design and adjusts the slides as you add content. Stunning. By the way, I have to tell you, I personally use this.
You do?
Yes.
That same thing?
I've recently, I used the free version.
Wow.
It's outstanding, beautiful, beautiful. And there's so many of them. So you choose one, comes up, right? And then you can type in where you want, but just in the area. And it will expand based upon the amount of text you want to use. But then you get access to, I want to say, 100,000 stock photos that are pretty good. I mean, better than average, you know.
Yeah.
So that I have to say that's pretty impressive. Now the other one though, I like this because I'm a news freak.
Right.
I love following the news. This is called Civic Owl. Civic Owl, which is a cool name.
Yeah.
And it says, add this Google Chrome browser extension and Civic Owl will scan news you've chosen to read, and assessing the relative quality, and listen to this, and the political bias of articles, and then offering additional perspectives. So they're not going to let you get too far off and just always read stuff from the right or the left or whatever. They're going to notice that and then say, by the way, you might also think about this.
Need some balance.
Yes, right. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
A Civic Owl icon will pop up on Facebook articles. People will share on your feed. And Civic Owl for Twitter is also due soon. So it'll tell you this came from Civic Owl. Okay. So what do you think about that?
I would definitely go for the killer presentation.
Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Because for one thing, I'm exhausted by the news anyhow. I hardly can even.
It's a wear out,
It is. I can't hardly read the newspaper or listen to the news anymore because it's just too much of everything.
Yeah.
But that presentation thing sounds really cool.
It's elegant, and the whole notion of white space, negative space, they definitely get that.
And I was thinking about how the world has changed so much in so many ways, but there's a great example where, and it's unfortunate for people who used to prepare these types of things for others, but now you can do all this stuff on your own, where you used to have to
hire an artist to do a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, and I see the up and down side on both sides of those issues.
Absolutely.
But that's fascinating.
Absolutely.
It really is.
I'm going to sneak in one more time real quick.
Okay.
And then the next one here. Tracking time, making it easy for billable hours, stay on top of it and all that, versus eating smarter. Users have set health goals such as weight loss and so on, and then it recommends meals and how to make the meals. And then adjusts its suggestions to customer tastes. The other one is billable time, stays on top of what and presents its assessment for approval. Yeah. Tracking time and eating smarter.
Totally.
What do you think?
Tracking time.
Huh?
Totally. I know how to eat right if I want to.
Yeah.
But tracking time,
it gets away from you, doesn't it?
Well, when you're doing a big project, a lot of times that's the challenge.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bruce Aaron. Dynamite job on that. Hey, when we get back in the second half of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about your trip out to central Nebraska and the incredible applause you received from all the educational elementary about your books, your incredible books. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Thank you. Sure.
Right? And then we'll get on and we'll talk about training. We'll talk about corporate training, the new level of training and so on. But for right now, we want to talk a little bit about our sponsors here. AlphaTech One, AlphaTech1.com, very interesting organization. They've chosen to say we will go the extra mile, so to speak. And if your computer isn't working, right, your laptop isn't working, something's going on, you get a little virus, you have to shut it down all the time, all those kinds of things.
And you feel so vulnerable.
Oh, you don't know, you feel like you've been hacked,
I
maybe.
do.
Oh, I do too, it's terrible. And you don't want to tell anybody.
Especially the IT guy.
Yeah, really. But here they come, AlphaTech One. They come, you give them a buzz, they come out, they undo it for you, say no problem. We'll give it a call, we'll diagnose the thing, find out what's going on, give you a price quote if you're cool with it. By the way, if you're not cool with it, no problem. They'll drive all the way back and reinstall it. Now, you're not probably going to want to do that.
I don't think anybody else does that, do they?
I don't know of anybody doing that. How do they make money doing that? I don't know. But anyway, it's a wonderful service. I love having him involved here because I know many, many people that watch the show that have tried AlphaTech1.com and really been pleased. And dynamite. Now, the other one's a Curzon Promotional Graphics, a very well-known organization in the Omaha, Nebraska area. They actually do business all over, from Texas all the way up to Northern America. They've been around so long that, and of course, it's everything from small to large. I'm talking about giant signs on the sides of big buildings, all the way down to little coupons and premiums and handout things and so on.
Image is so important.
Image is the deal, and we were talking a second ago about beautiful PowerPoints,
Yeah.
It really matters.
The same thing. People judge you by what they see.
They do, and so you really reveal yourself when you're using amateurish imagery or just not the right stuff. It's not that it's necessarily bad, but it's not very interesting.
Right.
We have to be interesting because we're used to being overlooked.
Well, and as I said,
not you, of course, but I'm used to being overlooked.
But everybody, like I said before, everybody needs an editor. I think everybody needs to have a professional when it comes to visuals.
You know, so many people don't understand. If I said, what kind of a person are you? What's your brand? How do you look?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I know what to do, but I don't really know how I'm supposed to present myself and my company. And that's the very beginning of everything.
Important.
Hugely important. Hugely important. LinkedIn profile is a great example. Not just your homepage on your website. So Curzon Promotional Graphics as well as AlphaTech One. Please support both of them here in eastern Nebraska. And thank you for watching, and thank you for patronizing them. All right, Bruce Aaron, before we plunge into this next section, I'm very interested in getting your opinion about training.
Okay.
Some people are very excited about it and upbeat and receptive. Other people are real cynical about it. Nobody cares about that, you know. So we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But you are a well-known children's book editor and illustrator par excellence. You've gotten some notoriety the last few years as being named Nebraska's top children's book editor, and you're working with the school systems throughout the entire state. But something happened recently. Tell me about your 3-day
Well, I was
caravan.
mentioning before the show that I was out in Broken Bow and Kearney and Grand Island, and had working both with public schools and a public library in Kearney.
Yeah.
Beautiful library in Kearney. I didn't realize it was
Is
so
that
nice.
right?
But I did an adult writing workshop there, and then I also did some full-day presentations throughout the day in Broken Bow and Grand Island. That is by far the most fun that I have with my job. I mean, as much as I love doing art and writing, when you get out in front of a gymnasium full of
kids. What are they, 6, 7 years old, something like that?
Well, K through 5.
K through 5. I mean, you
so
know,
it's just
and they're
so
just
good.
enthusiastic for you.
Oh, they just were going crazy.
Now, name the 2 books so we're clear on this, because it all comes out of this.
The
this
books
brand.
that I also authored was Simpson's Sheep Won't Go to Sleep.
Won't go to sleep.
And the opposite problem, Simpson's sheep just want to sleep.
Just want to
so
sleep.
it's younger kid books, but it's just a lot of fun. And
perfect.
They just went nuts, you know. And it's so fun, and I'm very flattered.
You're a celeb.
And
Why don't you just stay out there? Don't you just? I'd imagine you'd hate to leave. You know.
I love that part of Nebraska too. Just you're out near the sand hills and all of that. I love that area. But I really had a great time, and I'm looking forward to going back out again. So
it's Bruce.
Yeah, I know. They don't realize it's just me.
No,
don't tell them. Don't tell them.
I think you're right. I think they do know exactly who you are. Anyway, so we'll move past that if you don't mind.
Sure.
And we'll talk a little bit right now about something that has been on my mind for some time. And that is, of course, I mentioned to you several weeks ago, we've all learned about the Nebraska, we'll call it statewide revitalization initiative. And briefly, let's describe that for new viewers, okay, just so they know what's going on. Essentially, we're trying to find out a way to attract top talent who's left Nebraska, right? And we want to attract them back into the state.
Right.
And if you talk to those people, you know, we all think, oh, this will be great. We'll give them a tax credit, or we'll give them a cash bonus, or I don't know what we think we're going to do, you know. But if you talk to those people, it's really not about that. It's really about they want to work at a company where they have the opportunity to do something interesting and hopefully something kind of new, something innovative. They want to work for a competitive company that cares about being first or getting ahead, or you know what I mean?
They're tired of this same old kind of thing.
Same old thing, and they know they're young, so they're going to probably get stuck in the back of the office, and they're going to be asked to do a lot of menial things. Right. They want to be heroes. They want to ride into the war and wave the flag, and they want to win for their company.
Yeah, I get that.
And a lot of business owners either don't get it, or they're like, you know, I wouldn't know how to provide that experience if I could. So that requires kind of an opening up, an enlightenment, a training process, and say it's really possible to do so, to give this, and to be that way. And so, I mean, what if all of a sudden you've been creeping along every year for last 10 years, maybe at 1 or 2 or 3% growth? All right, the economy's growing 2%, so your company grows 2%. Right. I mean, that's not uncommon.
Right.
That happens all the time if you're a well-established company. But what if somebody rode into town and said, I think I know how, with your cooperation, a little luck, we can increase sales by, let's say, 15%. Huh?
Why wouldn't you?
Wouldn't that be exciting? Well, it's
I would
interesting
think
you
so.
say, why wouldn't you? But a lot of people will say, you know, if that requires me to stay late after work and not be home for dinner and, you know, ask this guy to go sell a little bit harder, I don't know if I really want that. I can't believe that, I'm telling you, but I actually know that's a fact too.
I know, and I understand all of that, but complacency is such a dangerous thing.
It really is, and I'm so glad.
Because pretty soon you're behind the curve, you know. Even if you've been staying with it, if you let your guard down, all of a sudden.
But you know, it's so interesting that you say that, because some people will say, no, that's not true. I don't really believe that's a fairy tale. Yeah. And then when it reaches that one point, then they go, oh, it's too late now. You know, we're lost. We're dead now. Now we just have to hang on as long as we can, and then we'll close the doors in probably a few 5 years.
But that's no way to live.
Well, that's no way to live or work, you know.
Right.
But it requires an outside catalyst. and exposure to new ideas.
And that's what it usually takes, is an outside catalyst.
An outside catalyst, right?
Because we can't, a lot of times, the other danger is trying to create inside of a vacuum, and all you're just kind of self-feeding your own thoughts, and you don't have any fresh ideas, you don't have any fresh perspective. It's all about perspective from the outside.
So Nebraska is about helping Nebraska's businesses increase their sales dramatically, cultivate talent, and build a culture that's more proactive and where people are happier being there and do more.
Vibrant.
Vibrant is a great word. And so you got to go through a lot of training for that. You got to do a lot of things. You kind of have to unlearn.
And it has to start at the top.
It does, boy. If anybody senses that the top is no longer into it, they won't be into it either.
Yes,
that's right. So Nebraska is all about training, and then once the sales begin to increase, then we will create a broad platform or a website. We'll have lots of publicity about John Doe and Associates and Carney doing great this year, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we're hoping then we'll have job placements there. We'll have basically ads for jobs available, right? And we're going to think some of these people that are in Denver and Kansas and so on, they're going to see this stuff and go, I need to think about the kids and maybe I should go back to Nebraska and try to hook into one of these companies. They seem to be doing something new.
Because there's growth there.
There's growth there. They're innovating. And of course, the key word is new. They're doing something new in Nebraska. And that's a cool thing, right? So we're kind of launching the training initiative. That comes first. If you don't get the results, you're not going to attract them back.
Right.
So it takes a lot of effort to get the companies and get them to believe that they can. So I'm going to list off to you the training programs.
Okay.
And I want you to kind of challenge me on what you think is good, bad, and indifferent, okay?
Okay.
All right. So one would be, right off the bat, now you remember my company's Wowbiz Growth Dynamics.
Okay.
It's spelled with an X at the end, right? D-Y-N-A-M-I-X. So all of these are branded with an X at the end of dynamics, okay? Just so you know.
Got it.
And so right off the bat, we'll start with, for instance, leadership dynamics, all right? There's a new era of leadership. Leadership, by the way, hasn't really changed much for over 40, 45 years, believe it or not. Clear back in the industrial era, that was the last time leadership was really defined successfully. So it's coming. We'll come at it again, see? And especially the difference between leadership and management. Big difference.
There's a big difference.
Big difference. But a lot of people kind of get a little muddy with that, all right? So leadership dynamics, so they have the confidence to lead their people forward into the future. That's the idea there. Now the next thing would be innovation dynamics, all right? So giving them a process, a path, and how do we do it, and how do we know? And what we're really looking for there are things that the customer hasn't been serviced. It's a missing need. The customer really wants this, but that's not what we sell.
So it's showing them a new way to do business?
Yeah, a new need to serve.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's a new product. Maybe it'll require a new product or service extension, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe new brand.
Another thing that's hard to see from the inside out.
Oh, that's the toughest.
Because this is the way we've always done it. So it's hard to think of another way to do it unless you've got an outside perspective.
Yeah, it's a process thing. All right, so there's that, right? Then there is marketing dynamics, all right? In the era of the internet, and there's 17 different ways to try to get a lead, and they're all hard.
And it's all different than it used to be.
Oh, my goodness. And then after that, I'll keep going rather quickly here, sales dynamics.
Okay.
All right, trying to close the deal now, trying to build relationships and close the deal.
Okay.
Right, that takes some time, of course. Then after that, change dynamics.
Like corporate change?
Yeah, corporate change. We talked a second ago. I mean, change is a whole mindset. You got to believe that you can change.
Yeah.
Otherwise, after the training programs are over and you head back to the home base, they will very steadily go right back to what they were doing beforehand.
You have to keep chipping away at that.
Oh, so change dynamics.
Okay.
Right? Now, after that, culture dynamics.
And that's actually almost hand in hand with change, but it's different.
It is different. Some people will say, strategy is really, really good. You got to be able to strategize. But culture is even, because you can't implement an idea if your culture doesn't support the idea and they don't vow to work together and I got your back and I'll work with you and we'll try to get this new product out there and I'll handle this or you do that. If you don't have that going on,
the previous culture won't be able to support.
Won't be able to support it. No. Right. So you got to have a definite, clearly different mindset. With culture, and then possibly team dynamics as well, small group interaction, and because if you don't get along with people, the projects aren't going to get done. All right, so there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Now, which one of those I come to say there's 6 months. You can take a 6-month program and just choose 6, or 12. And we only guarantee a 15% increase in sales if you do all 12. Okay? 6 is too short a time to guarantee anything.
Right.
But which one of those jumps out at you as the one to lead with? Somebody says, this sounds interesting. I don't know. We might want to do this. Let's start with blah, blah, blah.
I almost think, because I've been through it in the corporate world, I think cultural change.
Really?
Yeah.
Cultural dynamics.
I've seen how that, how important that is.
Yeah.
Because I see it as a real foundation, personally, from having lived through it and
It's
gone through it.
It's a good point.
I mean, they're all valid. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's the one that kind of jumps out at me.
I'm surprised. I thought you'd say leadership. But culture, now that I think about it, in your background, I know you've mentioned several times, that's a critical piece. So thank you for sharing that with me. Absolutely. Well, you know, we're kind of wrapping up here. This has been a busy show.
It has been.
We've been touching a lot of things. Boom, 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 right? And then we go deep into this whole concept of change, and it's so pertinent to the state of Nebraska, I have to tell you. I'm going to have the opportunity to visit in a few days with some of our state leaders, and they're launching Blueprint Nebraska.
Right.
We mentioned that before.
Yeah.
And so now they're getting into, they've got the vision and kind of the general idea. So now it's implementation. And so we got Nebraska over here. We're doing, you'd think that Blueprint would have training as a component, wouldn't you?
It does not?
Well, I don't know. We're
Oh,
going to find
okay.
out.
Oh, I didn't
We're going to
know.
find out. But I would
Okay.
think, wouldn't that
I
be
would-
like the first thing?
One would think.
Yes. And I don't know if they're going to be working with chambers, economic development, how you're going to do it.
But that's
it'll
where the
be
rubber hits the road, though. when
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
into
yeah.
that.
That's where the rubber hits the road, and we'd like to, we'll be watching that. We'll see what happens. Well, Bruce Aaron, thank you so much. And again, congratulations on your tour.
Thank you.
And the sheep are waiting to be taken out the door again. I promise you that.
The flock is ready.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Lynn Hinderrocker. Thank you so very much for watching us here on Wowbiz Nebraska. Now you know everything you need to know about the future, the State of the Union here in the state of Nebraska. How's that? Thanks so much. We'll see you next time on Wowbiz Nebraska. Bye-bye. Thank you.